Welcome back to the Weekend Ball podcast. We are here today after Canada beat France 85-73 in a pre-Olympic warm-up. The big headline of the day was Jamal Murray was not in this game for rest, but we'll talk about that later. But we'll first analyze the game itself, and I'm joined by people who love this podcast know very well. Scott Witter of X.com, lead senior FIBA analyst, and then obviously Matty Ireland of the Canada Hoops podcast. And I guess Scott, we didn't talk to you about the USA game, so I'll maybe let you give your 2 cents about this game and what you what you think maybe Canada will learn from it, maybe what we shouldn't glean too much into, just your general thoughts on this game.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic at seeing this game. I think Canada played really well. They did a lot of things that surprised me and impressed me that we can get into in a little bit. I think the cautiousness is I'm just a little unsure about France and who they are and what they are. They got smoked by Serbia a few days ago, or maybe it was last week, and their guard wing rotations kind of shifting around a lot. I don't know if they're really set there. Wemby, we saw flashes of brilliance from him tonight, but we basically effectively fouled him out of the entire first half. He had two quick fouls and was subbed out after a few minutes there. He had some amazing plays, I think in the third quarter, but we didn't really see him for a full game. But other than that, on the Canada side of things, I think they played great. There was a lot of things there. I was hoping to see that we saw tonight. And I'll kind of leave it there, and we'll get into the details in a bit here.
Maddie, did you love Shea hitting that step back three and then lying down on the bench, just letting loose and enjoying the moment? That guy just, I don't think anything can bug him. But just Maddie, what did you make of the game?
I really like just kind of what we saw from Canada overall, like especially comparing it maybe to last week in Las Vegas against the US. Um, the rotations Jordy was trying against the USA in Vegas. Obviously, he just wanted to get a look at everything. Tonight was a little more realistic, I think, in terms of minutes and rotations and groupings, which was cool. Like I didn't know what Jordy was going to maybe try to accomplish tonight. And it looked at the end like, we want to win this game, and they knew they could. And listen, when Shea's going to play as well as he did today and didn't even really look like it was a lot of effort to do so, I think that bodes well for Canada. And, despite Jamal not playing and being available, it's just kind of like move forward because the addition of Andrew Nemhard to this team is so good. And he had moments and stretches where, his benefit was very, very obvious. And role guys like Kelly had a great game. Dwight played well. Like just a really nice effort from the team. And what Scott said about France, like they're kind of a weird team to dissect, like to figure this group out. They don't shoot it well. I just feel like if this is a realistic look, somewhat going into this tournament, I think maybe that bodes well for Canada basketball and the senior men's national team. But yeah, just a nice look from the team today. They shot it well. I think they know, what they're about already for the most part in terms of this core of this team going back to last summer to World Cup and the additions. Like I think you guys talked about on X, like how great was Kem Birch today? Kem was
Oh,
really, really good. Like what a nice, addition to this team for a vet guy and a big Trey Lyles played well. Like this is a really nice roster, and it's cool to be able to say that compared to, the team last summer, which had a lot of success. So, listen, it's early, right? We haven't started the tournament. There's still one more exhibition game to go, but just a nice look from Canada today.
Yeah.
no, you were gonna go, Scott?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's I was just gonna jump on the Kem Birch bandwagon there, and kind of expand on that a little bit. But that this is where we thought the team was the weakest, was just how can we stand up? Do we have the size and the strength to stand up to some of these giant teams out there? And France was kind of that leading candidate of putting some massive guys out there. And we're not just talking Wemby and Gobert. They're kind of, their bench bigs are big, thick dudes. Yeah, Matthias Lesor, Vaselli. Those guys are big, strong players, very experienced players. Who kind of worried me almost as much as somebody like Gobert, because they're just so strong pushing guys around. You saw Birch just step right in there, bang with these guys, bring down boards, play great defense. Had one nice, at least one swat in the paint that really surprised me, because we were just worried about his knees and his lift and can he get up there, and a couple offensive boards. And what the team last year I think was missing was really depth, and depth at some key positions, right? We knew there was a bit of a hole in backup point guard. We knew there was some size issues up front, but what this team's now done is effectively moved Kelly Olynyk to the bench, and is bringing a bench of Lyles and Kem Birch, and you're bringing Nembhard off the bench. Those are all kind of new adds to the depth and the bench of this team, and they were pretty effective for good stretches there, and really outplayed the French team for some stretches there. So if we're going to see that consistently, that really solves some serious issues, I think that we had last year. And we might not just get run over with the second unit and just outsized. And if we could just at least hold our own, that's going to be really big for this team.
I thought Nembhard played really, really well. And Matty, you talked about how Shea looked a bit, he didn't really break a sweat, is because they played a couple lineups with him and Nembhard, and he just passes the ball over to Nembhard. They run an action and Shea's just off to the corner. They get a decent look. And that's just something they did not have last year, right? It was way more RJ, way more Nikhil, and just you could see Nikhil tonight with a bunch of turnovers. He's just not good as a creator. I don't think he's a bad player, but that's just too much for him. So, and that's without Jamal Murray, who obviously we'll talk about later. But I thought what you said, Scott, hit everything, hit the nail on the head in terms of, I thought if Kem Birch was healthy, he would be such a good addition to this lineup, and he looks to be. And I tweeted this out during the game, but they had a lineup with Birch, Lyles, and Olynyk, right?
Yeah.
And you're thinking, I don't know if they're going to play that a lot at the Olympics.
No. I was really shocked to see that.
It makes enough sense schematically, putting Olynyk at the 3. It's just really, can he defend and all that permutations. But at the end of the day, they can actually match size with size. And obviously Gobert and Wemby is maybe the scariest duo in terms of just pure size in this tournament. And they held their own, right? As good as Wemby was, he was hitting crazy step backs, and sometimes you just have to sit there and applaud. But overall, Dylan Brooks played great defense. I thought he was really, really good today. I think what will be interesting, the two players, and I don't know, we're kind of going on a tangent, but the two players I don't really know what their role is on this team is Lou Dort and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. You saw Lou Dort, he played great defensively, but offensively he's definitely a minus. And his shot comes and goes. And then Nickeil was just throwing the ball around way too much, and he's a decent defender, but those two players, I'm kind of curious with Jamal back where they land in terms of a rotation.
Yeah, that they were the two worst players out there, I think, today. Yeah, certainly offensively. Just I think Nickeil, bagels across the board except for 4 turnovers. I think, and a few fouls. And then Lou Dort was like 0 for 4 from 3. And there was some nice defense out there for sure. And if that shot starts falling, I think Lou Dort's certainly a valuable player. I would think Nikhil, especially with Jamal back, it's questionable about what he brings to the team and where the minutes are for him. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Matty, what did you think of maybe a guy like RJ's game today? Because I thought he played really well, really within himself. He had maybe one bad turnover, but really shot the three very well as well, which he did last year at the World Cup. And he just looked like the RJ Barrett that played for the Raptors this year, where he was efficient, taking the right shots, getting to the line. I thought he played really well defensively. He even had one possession where he kind of stood up and I think he locked down Fournier and played pretty decently, although he's still can be a bit of a liability. But what did you think of RJ's game tonight?
Well, I think we were texting about it like during the game, and like his game just suits FIBA. The officials look for this type of play and physical drive that he loves to do. Dipping his right shoulder. That gets his game going. I thought he had a good game, great game, just in terms of getting to the rim and drawing fouls. And we're talking about like roles for guys on this team, and who knows what some roles will look like. But he's likely going to start each game, and if he can get going and just be confident and get some easy looks right away, and this physical play of FIBA basketball, and the officials are always kind of looking that way. I just think it just suits him well, and he could be maybe not a nice surprise. I don't want to say a surprise because we know what he's capable of, but man, if he can be a real positive on the floor offensively that way, and much like maybe how Dylan surprised everyone last summer, like maybe this is RJ's summer, and it's the Olympic Games, and his dad played, and just the whole, he just seems to really be into this a lot, right? So, some of the touches and looks might not be as high when Jamal's on the floor, obviously, but really liked his game today, and just another, positive X factor for this group, right? Much like, we got from Nemhard today, and Kelly was good. I mean, I think they're starting to feed off each other, and we talked about it in the Vegas game against the US too. Like the core of the guys from last summer, it's evident, right? It's very obvious that they're in a flow already. Like there's that cohesion is there from this group, right? And I think Dwight was a good passer in a lot of situations, and RJ was the benefit of that today.
Yeah.
So I thought, man, great look from RJ today, guys.
I'm really happy the Dallas Mavericks didn't play Dwight Powell all year, because he looks like a guy refreshed, and he looks really good. Like, shout out to Dwight Powell against the USA. He did great against Embiid, although it's Embiid, so like he's not that good, in a big game. But all jokes aside, he played really well today. I thought he handled himself with Gobert. He got a beating. He got hit in the head, shoved everything, and he just knew how to kind of manage it, work the refs, and really good defensively, really smart. And you talk about, he was really good in that, like at the key, he'd like slip down because they double team Shea or Nemhard, get the ball and just make the right pass. And that's such a big thing. And there was that chemistry, right, that you saw with him kicking out to RJ or Dylan, some of those guys from last year. So that was something that I really felt evident, was the guys who played there last year. You could really see the cohesion within that group. And then I thought Nemhard, you could see him growing in the game in terms of finding chemistry with other guys. And, he had that great slip pass to Powell at the end of the game. And it's just those kinds of plays that you didn't see in the first game, really, against the USA. Obviously a better team, but those kind of more, those plays that come from chemistry more than just sheer talent.
Because if Alex, real quick, if Dwight is going to start, right, because of the physical matchup against size, like he has to be able to pass it well out of that spot, because otherwise that would be Kelly, right? Kelly would be your big passer, and we know Kelly's great at that. So Dwight has found a way to do this and be effective, and we need him to start based on the matchup with size, and how strong Dwight can play defensively against big. So great spot for him. And listen, he doesn't have to do it every possession, but real nice ability from Dwight in that spot, man.
And then nice game by Kelly too. He only played 14 minutes, but he put up 14 points. Was 6 for 7, two 3-pointers. Pretty nice, efficient game by Kelly too.
No, I think this is the right rule for Olynyk, right? He's somewhat paired up with a Trey Lyles, so they're not completely small on the perimeter, or I guess interior, sorry, but just not playing the 5 and sometimes playing the 5, but with like the right players around him, just coming on, giving some instant offense. I thought it was really nice to see him and Nembhard. Like they come in and it's like, oh, the offense actually got a bit better. Because Shea was kind of doing Shea things, but it sometimes doesn't involve everyone else. And I thought it really translated in a little bit into that, like they made the couple runs with Nembhard and Olynyk on the court. At the same time, Wemby wasn't on the court for all of those, so there is a bit of that correlation at the same time. But they looked really good, and shout out to Kelly, who just looked, he was feeling it from, his shot was really good tonight. And that's what they need, right? I don't think Kelly Olynyk needs to play more than 15-20 minutes at the Olympics. It depends on the matchup, of course, but I thought it's just nice to see him play well again after, having a bit of a tough tournament last summer, and then obviously not playing great against the USA as well.
So elephant in the room, guys, what's up with Jamal?
I don't profess to know things that I don't know, but I would say that if you look at what he's done in Denver, you look at how he was treating it in camp, I'm not too worried, but I think what you would say, Witter, is this is, and I think you tweeted it, this is valuable preparation that he's missing. And that's what scares me more. I'm not too worried that he won't go to the Olympics. The fact that he's in France, I just find it hard to believe that he doesn't go and play. And
I'm less worried about that, Alex. I am now legitimately concerned about the chemistry, because we now have seen, again, it was the United States, but they looked out of sorts against the United States, and arguably maybe not so, but like Shea and Jamal had really bad games against the United States. Here, this is what we expect from the team. It's Shea's team. He's in control of everything. He's pulling the strings. You now have a better bench. You have more pieces around you. The team looked very strong here without Jamal. It is a legitimate question to say, hey, if he comes in, does that disrupt the flow? Does that disrupt the chemistry? On top of that, Jamal's notoriously a slow starter. He started many of his regular seasons quite poorly, and then just kind of comes on after the new year, and obviously what he does in the playoffs just overshadows everything else. But he has a long history of having poor runs, and what kind of shape is he in? How does he fit with this team? What role is he playing? How are the other guys playing off of him? I think those are all legit concerns. And kind of sucks to not see him out there for a game like this, because that's we need to see that to see how he's going to fit in.
I really think, I'm curious to see if he plays against Puerto Rico. I would imagine.
Why not? Are we just going to go right into the Olympics without really seeing him play? The United States aside, but I don't know.
No, and I totally agree with everything you said, Witter. I think it's a major concern, and yeah, I don't know what I think. Canada with Jamal Murray the whole time last year, this summer, it is I don't know how to best describe it, but it is a interesting relationship and situation, because he doesn't want to run over its body. He has money on the line this summer, and I'm sure part of him wants to play. I think a lot of people probably don't want him to play at the same time. And he wants to be very cautious. The problem is that to prepare for the Olympics, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just was votes away from winning the MVP, and he's playing I don't know how many minutes he played tonight, but he played a lot in a meaningless game, right? to prepare himself for the Olympics. And Jamal Murray is doing the exact opposite. And I'm not trying to belittle him, but it's not good for the preparation. Like, it's as simple as that. No one can tell me that this is a good thing, unless there's some aggravation of an injury.
It's very concerning. It's a legit question to ask. Is this team better off without him? And I'd like to have him in or out, not this like, is he in or is he out? We don't know, right? I can say this. We aren't winning the gold without Jamal Murray there. Yep. It just raises our ceiling, right? He's that good that the only real shot we have against the United States is like him and Shea just going off, and we somehow squeeze one out. But we might be a higher floor team without him, because that chemistry's there and everything's connecting and the guys are filling into their roles, and who knows? I don't know how this team is with him out there, really. So I don't know.
And the thing is, what does he provide to you if he's not making shots, right? Like, that's, you look at in the game against the USA, I think he won 1 of 8. I could be mistaken, or 2 of something. I don't have it off the top of my head, but he's not a defensive. He's a defensive liability. He's not terrible, but he's not good. He's a good passer, but he's not. It's a lot of pick and roll. It depends on the game. If he has a lot of usage, he'll probably get a lot of assists, right? But that's the thing, is if he's not making shots at an elite level, he is a minus for the team. And then, as you said, it inflicts all this, not chemistry in terms of like players going at it, but just the flow of the game, right? You could see it in this game, right? All the guys who played last year knew where to go, what to do. You could see them talking about the officials. They're at, like, Dylan Brooks going like this for an intentional foul, like that. I don't think he would have done that last summer in August in a pre-tournament game, right? Like, they know the game, they know the rhythms, and it's a bit different when, Jamal Murray's out there and changing the field and who takes the last shot and everything, right? So, Matty, what do you think about Jamal Murray as his biggest fan?
Yeah, right. No, I mean, like, it's the ability to get like another game and chemistry going, right? So that's the biggest disappointment and missing piece of this, right? So it's not like Scott said, like, Canada's not going to win gold without this guy. Like, we know that. So it's disappointing that he didn't play today to work on the chemistry and make him run action. I wonder, like, just seeing how he was in Las Vegas and then the game itself against the US didn't look too explosive, so clearly there's something lingering. And then I wonder if he stayed behind and didn't travel with the team right away, maybe could have was a doctor appointment, follow up, type of, they're saying a personal matter, but maybe it's for some medical thing to have something looked at, who knows, right? So I don't know, like, we're going to need him, like, Canada's going to need him. And, in terms of, like, he's not as good a passer as Andrew Nemhard. So does Andrew start taking those minutes, does he start and look at games, based on matchup? I don't know. It's weird. Like, so maybe, because Puerto Rico's a lesser opponent, a lesser challenge, maybe Jamal gets in just for some rhythm and some chemistry stuff too. And they didn't feel like today was the right day to get him in, based off of whatever was going on for travel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that game's Sunday, right? Against Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Sunday.
So, a little bit more practice time, see how his body feels. Money on the line, guys. And like Scott says, notorious slow starter. And, I think at the end of the day, like, Jordy and Rowan, like, they'll look at this and say, well, what's the risk to the team as well? And the ability to win games. And, like, Jamal Murray makes this team better, no question, but you have to start looking at time with the group. And he's just this enigma, man, since he's come on the scene with Canada basketball and the senior men's team. And, we're just dying to see him play consistently. And be part of this best backcourt in the world. So, I mean, when we saw the post that he wasn't going to play today, I was kind of like, I almost wasn't shocked in a sense, but
He makes this team
looking
better
at how the game
theoretically.
unfolded. What's that?
He makes this team better theoretically or on paper. I'm not
Yeah.
100% certain he makes this team better. Might make it worse.
Right.
Good. The one thing I would say, and you saw it in a couple stretches, and if you just talk about the best part of this team, and as you said, Witter, that the ultimate goal of winning a gold medal, I think there's still a chance without Jamal Murray, but that ceiling definitely rises. And you could see it where they started the third quarter and they couldn't make a shot, right? And it was a couple minutes, but you can see that if if Shea's not going, and he had good looks, he just didn't make them. Who else is creating, right? I thought Nemhard, and I think, our friend Jonathan Chen might have a very good point about, let's say Jamal Murray, let's say we're going to put this out there. Jamal Murray misses the Olympics. Is it right to have Nemhard and Shea as your backcourt? I would be pretty open to it. You don't need to, I'm not saying, but you could see when those two were on the court, they're kind of your turn, my turn, but in a healthy way, getting good looks, right? And that's what Jamal Murray brings to this team. But again, I think you're right, Witter, that I'm not so sure that this team is better if we don't have 100% bought in Jamal Murray. And that's kind of where we're at. And it looks like we're going to get, not saying he's not 100% committed, but 100% healthy, feeling good, acclimatized Jamal Murray. And it's going to be a really interesting story to follow during the Olympics, is how does this team react to him? How do they do in the group of death, where there really isn't an easy game, unlike the other groups. It's just something that we're going to watch. But if we talk about this game itself, it's also why you feel like the floor for this team, even if Jamal Murray comes up and ruins it a little bit, is still so high, right? Playing NBA players the whole time, and NBA players versus European players, it's not the biggest thing in the world all the time, like especially in FIBA, but it's pretty nice when Andrew Nemhard's coming off the bench. Yeah. Okay, Matty.
So, long tenured media personality from Toronto who covers Canada basketball just says, Murray, who arrived early week after taking care of some personal business, rests and should be fine for Sunday. So I don't know if we know that's your boy. That's your boy Witter.
What is fine? What does fine mean?
So I don't know if
my question.
I don't know if he knows something, but
who is this? Who is this? Who tweeted that?
It's Smith.
Oh, okay.
Doug Smith. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe the goal was, or the plan was, just to have him play Sunday.
Yeah.
With some easy reps. I don't know. But yeah, like the ceiling's high for sure. But I mean, listen, it's good. Like, remember last year at the start of the World Cup, Nikhil talked about, hey, guys just got to kind of dumb down their role, right? Well, now roles this year have been like greatly diminished. We talked about like Nikhil's role is going to be very limited. Even Lou, to a point, Lou can give you a lot more defensively, but with the addition of Andrew Nemhard, who really helps his team a lot, what's Jamal's role? Like, I mean, it's Shea's team, it's Shea's program, so I feel like some minutes aren't going to be there. I think Jordy knows where this team is probably going heading into the tournament. So we'll see if Jamal Murray plays Sunday. That'll be an indicator for sure.
No, but the one thing I would say, just alluding to last year's team, and we don't have to go in it all the time because this is a new year, but the lulls that team last year would sometimes get in, you just didn't see to the same degree in this game, right? Pretty consistently scoring, defending at a decent level, not a lot of 8-0 runs, right? Like the only real run they had was the little 1v one to start the third, and it like evaporated pretty quickly. It was mostly Canada not scoring as much as it was France scoring. So I think just looking at this team on paper and now watching it, it seems like they're coming together in just a really good way. But yes, the Jamal Murray thing looms large, and we'll be monitoring it. But if you look back at this game, I'm gonna think, wow, they didn't play the best basketball, but they're like, oh, this is the team that we expected to compete for a medal at the Olympics. And that's nice to see because you never know how things play out after, a year absence and integrating new players, right? And you watch the USA game and you're like, uh-oh, this isn't good. Although I will say Jordi Fernandez, I don't know if people watched the documentary on the 92 Dream Team, but there's one part where Chuck Daly played like the All-Stars against like the select team, and he was just putting in the wrong lineups, and I think they lost to like the selects, the Dream Team did. And I feel like Jordi Fernandez took a bit of Chuck Daly in that USA game because I don't think he really played at all any of the lineups that he would in a meaningful game. And as Matty said today, you could see these were lineups that look like closer to what we'll see at the Olympics.
Well, and Shea played a lot more today than I expected. Like you and I were texting about that. Like all of a sudden, like I didn't think I would really see him in the fourth, and then he played like a lot. And I'm like, okay, Jordy wants to get some realistic looks here and get guys in the rhythm, right? So um, I think the team is trending in the right direction, and more of a reality look now as we move forward. Because I mean, first game is on Saturday, next Saturday, right? So
Yeah.
we'll have to. It is a tough group. There's no easy game.
Have you guys heard any other exhibition game beyond Puerto Rico? I know there was talk of it.
I don't think so. What I would guess is, and this is not on any reporting, but if I had to guess, I would not be shocked if they have another kind of
Closed
door scrimmage against
somebody.
Yeah, I think they were gonna play Spain before they were grouped with Spain. So that kind of took something away from them.
Right.
And so they kind of needed to find a dancing partner, and it kind of fell through. But yeah, I would imagine just because you have essentially 5 days, like a whole week until your last game, or until the Olympic game on the next Saturday from this Sunday against Puerto Rico. So I would imagine that, but don't hold it against me if we don't see anything, but that's what I would guess. Yeah. Anything before I let you guys go, anything else that you kind of want to touch on? Dylan Brooks going crazy as always on defense against Wemby, RJ Barrett with, and just anything you guys want to touch upon before I let you guys go.
I like what they did defensively, like against that length and that size. If you're gonna match up smaller against him, which they did with Dylan Brooks or Lou Dort, like crowd them, take away their foot space. I mean, and then you just Wemby's gonna hit some tough shots, no question. But good approach, and just really liked overall what I saw from everyone as a group, man. I mean, just everyone in their role and their minutes were really strong. Um, you know, uh, I owe Ken Birch an apology. I wasn't familiar with his game, cliche, but like when this team was going to get put together and we were kind of down to the last two spots, and um, you know, man, I just didn't know what this guy would do, and I didn't know if he was going to make this team, and I'm glad. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about because they know, the program knows that he's got a great spot on this team and a great role in those last couple of spots. If it was going to be between him and Kyle Alexander or Calvin Gelly, like obviously Kim's the right choice, and he looks good, man. He looks strong. We saw him up front. So great spot for him, and I think Kelly off the bench is really nice, just a vet guy, and he's gonna, like, Kelly is typically really efficient in whatever he does. 14 points in 14 minutes, we'll take it from Kelly over there off the bench. So, no, good luck today, guys. I was really impressed.
Witter?
Yeah, that's it. I was gonna riff on the bench again. I'm just happy what we're seeing there, and it is we don't have a window into these practices, or at least I
No.
didn't. So you don't know what, Kabengele and Alexander and Birch are really doing in the scrimmages. They're different types of players, right? Kabengele, if you needed more offense out of that position, I think he's your guy. Kyle Alexander's a little bit, thinner. I think more rim protection. And I think Birch is just man strength. I think he's just that big strong boy, and now he's got some speed. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. We might see a bucket or two a game out of him, but I think it was 6 rebounds and 2 of them were offensive rebounds and in 12 minutes. That's what we need. I think he played well. Glad he's there.
To wrap this with a little bit of a bow, I just thought it was cool. Just it felt like, oh, this is what Canada basketball with all its talent looks like. You go to France, play a pretty good team, and from basically start to finish, you win pretty easily. Or not easily, but like convincingly, I guess would be a better word. And it was just cool to see like Nemhard throwing a great pass to Dwight Powell, or Shea finding another guy. Or I just thought overall it was just nice to see the collection of the team, and it just felt way more complete than last year, where it felt like we had 70% of what a team should be, and now it feels much more closer to a finished product. Obviously, we're missing Jamal Murray as well, so even the highs have a little bit of a tinge of what if, but overall, I'm just excited that they look good. I'm excited for them to play Puerto Rico. I don't think we'll learn much from that, but I think it'll be just good for them to play another game and bring on the Olympics, baby. Greece, Giannis, and yeah, Matty.
Just one more thing, like the depth is awesome. It's what we needed. At this point in the program, we've talked about it for years in terms of like what's the deepest, most ideal team. I really like this group, and it's amazing. The second point is like finally qualifying for the Olympics after 24 years. Like to not only just qualify, but have a team that can do a lot of damage. Like there's high expectations. The senior men's national team isn't just going into the Paris Olympics after missing the games for 24 years with just sort of a loose group where, maybe not do well. Like this team has got like high hopes, right? So it's great that it's all come together, and, credit to the program and the players, because the players have made it happen and want to be there. And I feel like the group's we said it last summer, this group's gonna do something special, man. I'm putting it out there because I've seen enough here in like last couple of weeks with their camp, showcase game, now this game, like just ride with it, man. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah. And I think you guys get this, but like we have a team, and I think you still have people that when we saw the rosters crying out for more talent and why are we missing so and so and so and so and so and so. That's always going to happen. The whole goal here with this core in the last 3 years was to create a team that knows how to play together, has role players, has chemistry, has time together, has experience with FIBA, and that's what we got. I much rather see this team that's played together for the last 3 years than having Wiggins or Zach or Shaden Sharp or Mathurin, all our talent here. This is going to be a better team than pulling all those guys together and having 2 weeks together and everybody trying to figure their shit out. This is what we want. This is what's going to sell.
And that's the thing, right? When I say like you look at the chemistry, that's from especially last year, right? Those guys who played together know how to play together, and it's nice that obviously the USA doesn't really have that experience, but they have so much talent. But if you look at other teams like France that have been through the wars together, it doesn't feel like, oh, they played together, we don't know what we're doing, right? It's nice to finally feel as though, okay, yeah, we're gonna run a dribble handoff, and we know where to go and what to do and where to be and all those things. So it's really exciting. I'm really excited for the Olympics, and we'll be doing this podcast after the first game against Greece on Saturday, the 27th, I think. And let's get the show in a row on the. Let's go. Let's get it. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to be doing the women's games as well. We're going to be doing this podcast as well. So I'll be a busy guy, but you guys will be busy too. And just enjoy it. It's going to be so much fun. Like it's going to be the 2 best weeks of our lives, and maybe not the best, but one of the 2 best weeks of our lives. I think just finally seeing it all come, and it's just so exciting. Like I'm, even if they disappoint us, I know I'm gonna be pretty excited for a lot of it. So thanks guys for taking the time and doing this. I'm sure we'll do this again throughout the Olympics, and go Canada, go Dylan Brooks, and let's get it.
Appreciate it, Alex. Take it easy, Matty.
Later, guys.